done the presentation. Start the presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it okay? Yeah.
Give it a more. Yes. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So, ma'am, I would just like to give a quick introduction, if that's okay.
Sure.
So, yeah. Good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to week 2 of 𝗥𝗲𝗶𝗺𝗃 for STEM Fellowship. So, ma'am, for you and our audience who will watch this lecture later on YouTube, I would like to briefly describe what 𝗥𝗲𝗃 Fellowship is. So, 𝗥𝗲𝗃 Fellowship is a 16-week mentoring and career development fellowship, which is designed to place every fellow who comes into the program onto a high confidence STEM path. And today we are proud to bring an opportunity for our fellows and the larger community to interact with an amazing women in STEM who have defied traditional access barriers, broken stereotypes, and smashed the glass ceiling in STEM. So this week's theme is reimagining possibilities for women. We were also supposed to have Dr. Bushra Ateeq, who is the winner of prestigious 𝗪𝗪𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 award in 2020. Unfortunately, she couldn't be with us today because of the COVID challenges. And we are very, very proud to have you here, ma'am, Dr. Vinita Pharatiyal, who happens to be, correct me if I'm wrong, ma'am, we read this in an Indian Express article that you happen to be the first Indian woman scientist to set foot on both the poles. So there's an Indian Express article that. So I was really excited to read that. A brief biography about Dr. Binita Phartiyal. So Dr. Binita Phartiyal is working as a scientist at the Birbal Sahni Institute of Palaeosciences, Lucknow. She's a master in geology and doctorate from Kumaun University in geology in Nainital, Uttarakhand. She pursued her postdoctoral work during 1999 to 2000 from Tuebingen University, Germany, as a DAAD Fellow. Her research interest lies in Quaternary climate tectonics, geomorphology, and the high-resolution paleoclimate of arid deserts. She has conducted fieldwork in polar regions, Antarctica and Arctic, and as well as the Himalayas and the Western India. So we are very excited to have you here, ma'am, and looking forward to hearing all about your exciting journey of working in such extreme environments and smashing that stereotype. So thank you, mom. Thanks a lot for being here today.
Thank you, Darshana, for the lovely introduction. It's always nice to, listen to good things about you. Yeah, at the onset, I should thank Vigyanshala, the Kanpur chapter of it, who is doing so much and, bringing women to the mainstream of STEM. And it was a lovely topic to talk about, and especially to these young girls who across India who are, who want to pursue their career in the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So good morning, everybody. Good morning, my young friends. Thank you, Darshana. Thank you, everybody, the team, 𝗥𝗲𝗃, who have put in so much of effort to, do this this thing, especially in this, outer world is like filled with pandemic and it's bad news coming over from all over. But, at least we have some activity here to keep us smiling and, to keep us out of that think tank of the pandemic. So today I'll be talking about, as I expertise in earth sciences, especially geology, so I'll be talking about the possibilities here. And moreover, over Dr. Darshana, she told me that, it would be nice to talk about my journey, especially, and right from my school days and university, and the inspirations, the challenges, and how I faced them, especially, researching in this unique field of geology or earth science. So, I've divided my talk as, talking about the yesteryears, and then my work in the three poles, where the journey to the three poles, the expeditions, the science there, and the experience there. So, three poles, I say, because Antarctica and Arctic are poles, and there is yet another pole, which is the Tibetan Plateau, Ladakh region, which I'll tell you about in my, coming slides. And I'll show you the slides, and then you can feel that what were the opportunities and what were the challenges. How do one face them, and then at last my inspiration and the guiding principle of life. So we go. So as Darshana has already told you all that I come from Birbal Sahni Institute of Palaeosciences. I'm working in this institute. This is a very unique institute that studies the paleo things. Paleo means ancient, yeah. So like you must be aware about fossils and all. And most of you must be geology graduates who know what paleo is. So it's the ancient sciences. So, we always think that the present is the key to the past, and vice versa. So if we know our past well, we can know our present, and we can we can at least estimate what the future is going to be about, so that we can be alert, and especially when we talk about climate, when we talk about disasters, and so on. So this is a unique institute, and I'm here since 2001. Basically I'm from Uttarakhand, a beautiful hill station in the laps of the Himalayas, and I'm still sitting here seeing the mountains outside and talking to you because of the pandemic and work from home. So I moved from Lucknow to Nainital recently, and I was born and brought up here. So my my early life, my 25 years of my life were traversing these hills up and down, because my home was in one hill, my college and schools used to be in the other hills. Every day we are like walking up and down, up and down, up and down. So my schooling was high school I did from St. Mary's Convent, and then graduation, then intermediate from government girls into college. So during school, everything was very, very nice, especially high school. When we were in the convent, we were taught by German nuns, and they used to be great people, and so we really didn't know the real India. So when I came to GGIC, it was a government school, and I saw many things that really, made me to think that what I had seen till now, the luxuries at home and the convent kind of background, India was not that. Here, people were so poor. Some girls were so poor, and because I was the president of the school in my class 12, so people used to come and talk to me heart to heart. So I used to feel very bad that they didn't have they didn't have any meals to eat and proper dresses, and it was very hard for them to pay the fee, in spite of the girl education fee being it was nominal. So it was still very difficult. So that time I really used to think, and that time I wanted to travel to the entire India and see what my country is like. And then I did my geology, and then I stepped into college. I did my BSc and MSc from Kumaun University, Nainital. And in the meantime, I also fell in love, got married, and so I had a second home in Nainital again. So it was more of trekking from my first home to my second home to my college, and so on. Then I pursued my PhD, and while doing my PhD, I want to tell you, I'm showing you the slide. This was my first international conference, and when I went to Pakistan in 1998. So I just want to bring it here because, it's how things work. You're doing your work, you're doing your work with full passion and enthusiasm. And when I was in Peshawar in 1998, and you can recall, like most of you must have been born then. So that was the time of Kargil war. There was a tussle between India and Pakistan. So that time people were surprised that how I landed to Pakistan. In Pakistan, where maybe 4 people or 5 people from India were allowed, and like that too, they were all directors of big people, big shots at that time. I got a 9-day non-extendable visa, and I flew to Lahore and then to Peshawar. There in the session, I was presenting my paper. It was being chaired by one of a very big professor, renowned professor from Germany, Professor Vinapul. And he liked my presentation. And after the presentation, we had lots of discussion on it. And during the dinner time, he said, "Why don't you look?" I was working for my PhD in the lake sediments. Why lake sediments? I'll come to it later. So he was very interested, and he said, "Why don't you try some other proxy, some some other records, which can tell you more about the climate of the past and all. And in Germany, we have a big lab, and maybe you can apply and come. And so my journey to Germany started. I applied for DAAD German Academic Exchange Service Program, and I got a post-doctoral fellowship in 1999-2000. I was in Germany for nearly 2 years. And I just submitted my PhD thesis and went there. So I came back, and then I did my. It was awarded later. So again, I was in a beautiful town in Germany, and I could recall it because of my high school days, where my German nuns used to talk about these European, glades and pastures and Alps and beautiful villas and beautiful things. So I found myself there, one fine day, and did my then I did this new proxy, environmental magnetism, they call it, because I had done geology and physics. Here, in science, it's beautiful that the basic sciences are, of course, very important, but the intermingling of those sciences is better. Like, we do social science, like we do geology and physics, geophysics. We do geology and chemistry, geochemistry, and so on. So this gives you a better picture of the interdisciplines, how they are linked together, and you get a picture in toto. You are not talking about just a little pyramid or little discipline. So you intermingling and seeing it from that aspect also. So that makes it better. That makes science better, and your perception better, and your interpretations better. So after Germany, I directly now come to my work my work, that is basically I love working in the cold arid deserts, and being brought up and born and brought up in the hills. So I have a passion for these hills. When I see the hills, I am like better than what I am in other parts. So here, what we have led lots of teams of even girls to the Ladakh Himalayas, or the high altitude regions, or the expeditions. And being a girl or a boy, it doesn't make much difference. You just need to have that strength in you and that passion in you. So it's not like there are more difficulties for the girls and boys. It's not like that. You have to treat yourself as equals. It's not like you don't have to be in that, oh, I'm a girl, geology is not meant for me, and it's a field science and I cannot do that. Of course, you have to make your own choice. So by choice, you can come into the field of geology, and especially the girls who want to venture out, who are adventurers, who like outdoor lives. I think geology is the best option. So yeah, as Darshana has already told you, that I was lucky to be in both the poles, and in Antarctica, it's 15 years now. So I was in the 25th, it was the Silver Jubilee expedition that was there. So just a brief about what these expeditions are like. We have this institute called NCPOR, it's the National Center of Polar Research. It's in Goa. So every year, it advertises the posts, not posts for the expedition, they advertise the project proposals. So any of the students or any of the faculty who's interested in all kind of sciences, it's not only geology. So even in medical sciences, biology, chemistry, anything. So your proposals are reviewed, and then you get a chance to go to wherever you want to. Like if your proposal is of Antarctica, you go to Antarctica. Every year there is this scientific expedition. So our proposal was on the lakes, because I have been studying lakes here in the Himalayas. So I wanted to study the lakes of this Antarctica, and the region of the Svalbard, we call it. I don't know whether we have a pointer in this or not, but in the Norwegian Arctic. So where I was in. So So with this background, like my kind of work, it requires a lot of reading, traveling, trekking, sampling, laboratory analysis, writing research papers, guiding students for their MSc dissertation, for the PhD. Then we have to give trainings. Then we have to present our work in those conferences. You have to lead some expeditions and teams and so on. So apart from, the home work, that are the duties of the home, which are, of course, a priority. So apart from that, so you really have to have a to-do list, and you really have to have your priorities. Otherwise, you miss out on many, many things. So this kind of work, and I am very sure that so many of you who are listening to me today, you would be in the same field as of 10 years from now, or 7 years from now, you would be in the position I am in the same way. So this would be more demanding in the coming years, because of technology, because of competition and so on. So one has to be prepared for it. So what is my basic work is, apart from the interesting one I'll tell, otherwise we could go on and on talking for the whole day. So basically I look at the landscape evolution and paleoclimate. So I study paleoclimate of the cold arid deserts because they give me a baseline data, and I compare it, and I do publish my results. So why do we need to study climate? And now if you see the slide that is on your screens now, so there are tipping points in the Earth system. Now here, as a geologist, I look at the Earth as a whole, one entity. So when you see in the coming years, in the past 3 decades and especially 2 decades, so lots of problems, global problems have creeped up. Like if we see the North Pole, we see the permafrost methane outburst. You must have heard that the snow and the ice is thinning because of global warming, and there was a reserve of clathrates like methane inside, which was under pressure. So it was there holding, because of thinning of the ice, it's just bursting, and it's causing a lot of hazardous activities in the Russian side, in the Greenland side. Then you would have heard about the instability of the ice sheets because of global warming. Global warming has caused lots of, you can see the entire world. You have these circles all around with a major problem. Yeah, when we come towards the Indian side, we see the Indian monsoon transformation as one of the biggest problem, and the Tibetan albedo changes. This is because of the global warming. In the Himalayas, all the glaciers have melted. The freshwater reserve is getting depleted at a very fast rate. So we need to do something about that. And because of that, the Indian monsoon has become so unpredictable. Sometimes it rains for, in 3 days, there'll be incessant rainfall. And that really creates havoc, like we had the Kedarnath tragedy. And then sometimes, it won't rain for months, even in the monsoon months that are the June, July, August, 15th June to 15th September. So you don't have rain. So much of uncertainty. And India, being an agricultural country, so much is dependent on the rains. So we really need to think, and hence climate becomes a very important science to be studied. And I like this slide. I want to show you here, in these thermometers, these are 10 thermometers showing you 10 life-sustaining biophysical systems, like without which we are nowhere. So these are the climate change. Yeah, the first one is the climate change. Then there is a biodiversity loss. And you see there is this green line, which is known as the tipping point. And now what is the tipping point? Tipping, you must have heard a lot about the tipping point in the news and, lately. So tipping point is a point, once it's crossed, the process becomes irreversible. Yeah, below the tipping point, it's naturally, there are things that can convert it to and retain it. Rejuvenation can take place. But after the tipping point, things are out of hand. So you see all these 10 life-sustaining biophysical systems, like the climate change, like biodiversity loss. We've already lost 1000% of biodiversity is lost. Climate change is 110% We have tipped it. Then similarly, phosphorus cycle, ocean acidification, chemical pollution, land system change, atmospheric aerosol loading, global freshwater use, nitrogen cycle, stratospheric ozone depletion. Everything is on an alert. We really have to think and we have to act accordingly. So our planet really has a fever. We are not in a very, very safe place as we see. So, you all are aware about the two poles, the North Pole and the South Pole. And I said I'll tell you about the third pole today. So these poles are due to the self-sustaining dynamo in the Earth's core. You all know that the outer core is a liquid, and because of the rotation and, there is a dynamo effect, and we have this pole. So magnetic thing is involved here. But there is a third pole, and that third pole is not because of the magnetic thing. It's because of the geographical position, and because it has ice fields that contain large reserves of fresh water outside the polar regions. So when you look at the poles, you imagine frozen things. Yeah. So frozen means a lot of fresh water in them, glaciers, ice, and ice sheets. So outside the poles, of course, Antarctica and Arctic has lots of fresh water in form of ice, but outside the poles, only this area. This area means the region that encompasses the Himalaya, the Hindu Kush mountain range, the Tibetan plateau, and it's an area. It's a big area. It's more than 4.3 million square kilometers, and the black line that you see is the hydrological boundary of this place. So, and the red boundaries are the countries that come under this third pole region. And this place is very, very important because it is a formidable global ecological buffer. It has enormous socio-economic and cultural diversity here, and ethnic community that reside here. It's rich in resources, and it has diversity, hotspots, and a huge population. And very important is that it has 10 major rivers that feed about 20% of the world's population. So these rivers are the Indus River, the Ganges, the Ganga, the Brahmaputra, Irrawaddy, and Mekong, Salween, Wangho, and Amu Darya, and Tarim. So these are the major rivers that are feeding to a lot of population in of the Asian countries that come under the third pole region. So this area is a very important region where we have lots of hotspot and biodiversity. These are some of the faunal diversity: snow leopards, double-humped camels. You have yak in this region, and lots of pastural like sheep and cattle they keep in this region. So I basically, because within the boundaries of India, we have, this region we can see somewhere in Ladakh, Ladakh area, which is known as the Trans-Himalaya. So you have the Himalayan range, and then you have the Trans-Himalaya, beyond the Himalaya. So that was the portion when, when the tectonic activity, when the Indian plate collided in the Eurasian plate. So everything that was of the Eurasian plate is the trans today. So that comes from in the Ladakh region. So it's a high altitude, cold, arid region, and it's Himalaya, so it has to be lots of tectonics in it, like seismicity in it, and it's the youngest fold mountain belt. The Himalaya you must be knowing. So here we are doing paleoclimatology, and we study the paleoclimate because once you get the paleoclimate signature, then you can and you have the present. You are seeing the present, and especially you have the instrumental data of the last 150 years. That's the recorded climate data of entire Indian subcontinent from different stations. So you can put it, you can model it for the future predictions. So you can say what the coming 100 years would be like, what would be the coming 1,000 years be like, what would 10,000 years after this would be like. You can model it. So paleoclimatology is the study of the past climates, and by a past climate, how do we reconstruct it? We use a different set of proxy records. You know, we in the sediments or in the speleothems. You know, you must have heard about these cave deposits, or in the ice cores, or in the marine cores. We do a lot of proxy records. We study their physical properties, the chemical properties, the biotic properties, and then come to some kind of an interpretation about the climate. And we can date these sediments also. We can date these records also. There are methods that we can have a precise date of the sediment we are talking about. And then all these records are integrated with observations of the Earth's modern climate and placed into a computer model to infer past as well as predict the future climate, as I already told. So I'm working in this area in Ladakh, and basically I work with the lake sediments. Lake sediments, why? Because, you know, terrestrial, in ocean you go, the ship goes and you gives the core, and then you slice the core and you study. So similarly, in a terrestrial setting where there are glaciers, where there are rivers, where there are, you know, so much of landscape is there. So here only the lakes are the, you know, closed basins where year-wise the deposition is coming, the sediment is coming and recording the temperature, precipitation, wind speed, etc. of that time. So these can be hundreds and thousands of years old. You know, we go to the field, we bring it as a core, or we bring it as we dig a pit and bring the samples centimeter by centimeter. And in the laboratory, we do lots of proxy studies, like, as I told you, like physical, chemical, and biological proxies, and then we get a spectrum for of climate from wherever, you know, from maybe 5,000 to present to 10,000. It depends on how deep your core is, where, in which location you are. So that also matters a lot. So in this high altitude cold region, you have lots of paleo deposits, ancient deposits also. Like in this picture, you can see this is a flood deposit of 3,000 years back. So just imagine 3,000 years back, this region would have been flooded, and today it looks like this. So we look at the sediment and characterize it, and then look for fossils, because these are the best things that can give us a precise and very accurate date of the sediment, of the layer they are found in. And then what we do, we just put in all our results of the sediment and all, and we do some kind of a geomorphological landscape evolution. Like today, the land is looking like this, the region is looking like this. What must have it looked like in the past? Like, for example, in these pictures, in the past, there would have been a beautiful big lake in the valley, but today it's a river valley, and it's just a matter years. Maybe if you are not, you've not studied geology, you would say, oh my God, 5,000 years is a big time. But for a geologist, 5,000 is just, you know, just there. So because we are studying from when the Earth was from, like, you know, for 3 billion years ago. So right from 3 billion years, how the Earth has come to this form. So 5,000 years is mere nothing. And you'll be surprised to know that, you know, we human beings, when did we really come? It's just 2.5 million years. And when did we start living like this, you know, culture? When did this culture and civilization start? It's not, it's just 10,000 years back. And 10,000 years to today, we've done so much. We have, you know, we've spread all over the world. You know, we originated somewhere in Africa. That's out of Africa. Hypothesis, that's a different topic to talk about. And then we dispersed all over the world. And it was just last 18,000 years that, you know, people went to the via when everything was frozen. They went from Europe to the Americas. They got, you know, colonized there, and the history, it just started few thousand years ago. So you know, from a geological point of view, so 5,000, 10,000 years is really very, very short. So you'll be surprised you'll be surprised to know that even the Pangongso Lake, it's the Three Idiot Lake. The movie, the famous movie, was shot here, especially the last scene where all the three friends, they unite and get together. So this lake today, it's between India and China. It straddles the international boundary straddles over this lake. We have 45 kilometers of this lake, and China has another 100 kilometers. So it's 145 kilometers. But you'll be surprised that, towards the Indian side, this lake was bigger. It was 180 kilometers more towards the eastern side, that is towards the Indian side, and it's all lost, it's gone. So I didn't know whether Pangongso, after 5,000 years, whether it would be there or not. So whether the lakes that you're seeing today, would they be existing anymore or not? These are things to really ponder about, I think. So I'm not just talking to you, or I want you to believe what I'm saying, but I'll show you an example. So you can see this aerial photograph. You see, what you see is a river bed, and then a damming of a lake here, and a lake is formed, and it's dammed because of some material has slid from the mountains and blocked the valley. So this is, and the lake waters are just rising up at the rate of 15 feet per day, because these are mountain regions, so the glaciers feed them. It's springtime and they're melting, so the waters really rise up, and it's just dammed by a debris. Debris means just loose material. So, and the water pressure is building. So I take you to Hunza landslide dam in Pakistan. It's a story of 2010, and these are some pictures that I picked from the internet just to show how it looks like. So entire mountain, it comes down. It blocks the river channel where the small lake starts forming. So first the lake is small, but as days pass, the lake levels are getting higher and higher. So the river valley, basically it was a river valley, it's now transformed into a lake. So every infrastructure, connecting the villages, it's underwater. You can see the big long trees, they are all underwater. Rescue operations, they start. And these are live, just 1 or 2 days story pictures are there. Then the Pakistan army comes for rescue, and people are evacuated. And even the famous passes, these are the highways. This is the Karakoram highway, and it is underwater. The fields are underwater. Many villages are underwater, because all the villages are along the river sides. And because the mountains there are barren, or they have glaciers or snow-covered mountains. And rescue operations again going on, and lots of loss of life and property. And then there was another danger, as I said, because this is just loose thing that has come and blocked the river now, and the water pressure is building upstream. So what if the water pressure is more than this loose debris, it can just break this dam open, and there would be a flooding like situation downstream also. So downstream also, the people living along the river valley, they are at it's not safe for them. So then they do artificial channeling, and this lake you can still see when you fly from New Delhi to China. So there is this you can see this lake. It's just formed 10 years old, and it's a big lake of 25 kilometers. So this kind of things, the mountains can do such kind of things. So assessment of such disasters is also necessary, which is a part of our work. So basically, we do paleoclimate, which is very important. Then we also do human climate interaction. That why does human come and stay in these mountains? Because there is very less oxygen. There is no vegetation. It's such a treacherous terrain and dry and cold. So why do human come, and since when have they start living? And so we are venturing into that research also. And then we also have some projects with ISRO on the permafrost thing, because permafrost is one very good source of fresh water, that is frozen layer of soil inside. So, but that is also depleting because of global warming, and we need to assess that, how fast it is going, or what is happening. And then this area, Ladakh, is a analog for Mars. So recently we did we are studying now, we've started studying it for as an analog for Mars, because lots of studies on Mars are being conducted. We know what that our neighbor looks like, the red planet looks like. So unless and until we would know the counterparts, which the analogs which look like are similar, and understand the processes what are taking place in these extreme environment regions of the world, so we would not be able to understand Mars well. So we do analog researches. And we did NASA Spaceward Bound program. So this is an international program. It's an educational program. So any of you, if interested, you can, just search it. And every year these programs are done. And the objective is for participating scientific researchers, educators, and students to visit remote and extreme environments in different parts of the world, and to conduct astrobiological and biological experiments, and make observations and learn about the origin, the sustenance, and adaptation of living organisms within such biospheres. So this we did it in Ladakh in India. It was the first time in 2016, and where we conducted activities like we did a field validation of ExoMars 2020 habit instruments. It's already in the Perseverance that has rover that has gone to Mars. So that was a team from Norway. And here, when you talk about space researchers, so it's not like there are no boundaries. It's the entire world that comes, scientists, they come together and conduct these experiments. Then we also did the origin of life and carbon metabolism in the hot springs, the thermophiles there in the hot springs. Then microbial life in the salty lakes, we did study that. And lots of regolith landform mapping was done, and an outreach teacher training locals program was also done. So it was a really nice program. And after that, we are forming a society of astrobiology researchers in India, and let's see, it's on its way. And anybody, if you're interested, you can join this program. So coming to the Antarctica, a few more slides on what the expeditions are. So Indian scientific expedition to Antarctica was started in 1981 by our late Prime Minister, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, and she was a visionary. And since then, every year the expedition has been going, it goes on. So after a rigorous training from by the ITBP people in Oli, and after a thorough medical checkup at AIIMS, you are fit for the expedition, and then you land in the 𝗪𝗀 Oasis. So this is towards the eastern part of northeastern part of Antarctica. So here you are. This is the 𝗦𝗃𝗃 station, Indian station in Antarctica. There is this lake where the drinking water goes to the people in the station. And here, as it's Antarctica, what can you expect? That the mean annual temperature is -10, and it's the southern hemisphere. So December is the warmest month. So we went for the summer expedition. So we were there from November, December, Jan, Feb, March, for 4 months. And then there is a winter team that does wintering, that stays for 16 months there. So to record and to study their readings and do science there. So you can be a part of any of these expeditions. What we did is, there is in the map above, that's orange there, it's a rocky terrain, where we chose this rocky terrain because, before when this expedition was started, it was at 𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏, and 𝗪𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 was in the shelf region. And just in 3 years, it was all under ice. So, we lost a lot of money, and everything was buried. So fast, the ice comes there. So then this region, the 𝗪𝗀 Oasis, because in Antarctica you cannot see palm trees as oasis. So just anything brown that was there, it was rocky terrain of 35 square kilometers. So they chose it. It was about 80 miles from the shelf. So when you land in your ship, then there are helicopters taking you to this to your research station. And in the map, orange map, you can see that all the blue ones are the lakes there. There are 100 beautiful lakes that are that are frozen throughout the year, but in summer for some time they melt. So I basically went there to study these lakes. and the plant life there. And then we collected samples and we could do some good research and infer about, what had happened in the last 13,000 years, how glaciers had melted, how there were big lakes, and then now the present is like this, and what the future can be like. So, these are some of the studies. And when you go to the expeditions in Antarctica, there is the Army and the Navy and the Air Force to take care of you. They provide us the logistic support. So the scientific expedition is very well, organized by the NCPAOR, and anybody who's, who wants to go to this place, I think they should look at the NCPAOR website and see what the expedition is like. And it's not impossible, and you'd love everything there, in spite of lots of challenges like blizzards, bad weather days, and lots of wind, cold, but still when you look back at your pictures, you really feel good. So this is again January 7th, and you can see that winters, because it's the winters are coming and the sea is getting frozen. So your ship has to move along, otherwise it will get stuck, and the team gets stuck for another 6 months. So it's very necessary. This was the ship that I was in, and the journey from Cape Town to that's South Africa to the Indian coast here in Antarctica, it takes about 15-20 days, and it depends on the sea condition also. And then here, really, when you're passing the ocean, you can see the latitudes, the 40s and 50 latitudes when you're going down. And then you've read it in your geography classes, the fiery 50s and the fiery 40s, and then you experience it, because there's a lot of rolling and pitching, and the entire crew in the ship is like they're puking here and there. It's a bad speed. Only few, you can just count them, 2, 3, 4 people out of the team of 30 are good. Otherwise it's really, really hard time. And then once the ship is static, then things become normal. So you experience that, the things that you've read, you experience it. Oh, rolling and pitching is like this. Okay. So, yeah. So that was Maitri, and now this is Bharti. Bharti is a new station. I haven't been to Bharti, but I would love to go there sometimes. And this was commissioned in 2012 only. And this is a very sophisticated, station that India has made. And it's more towards the eastern side. If you can see the map of Antarctica in the right-left corner. So there is this Larsman Hill. So here Bharti is there. And the upper station was in the 𝗀 Oasis, the Maitri station. So we are again 3,000 miles separation. And here the beauty of it is that the ship comes and you can just walk into your station. So you can also stay in the ship and do field work around and whatever. So this is also a very good place to study, and you can see, you can make projects, because we need data from all these places. Yeah. And coming to the North Pole in the Arctic, we got the Arctic station in 2008. 7 we built it, 8 it was inaugurated. So we were a 5-member team when we were there. You can see Honorable Minister Kapil Sibal, who was the Science and Technology Minister then. So here with the team, and this is Ny Alesund. Here, we have, this is a Maitri station, and here it is a village. Village means there are lots of stations of different countries here in one place, and people, they do researches, and a common company, King's Bay Company, they look after the food and supplements and all that. So here also you have to be on your own. You have to do field work. You have to walk for miles, dig yourself. There are no laborers. You cannot. You don't have any help. And then if you see towards my right side, there is a there's a gun, and then there is the danger of these polar bears. And then you, as soon as you land into Ny Alesund, this is in Norway, the archipelago that you see over Norway, one of the islands there. So the station is there, and then as soon as you land there, you have to undergo this training for polar bears, shooting and all, and then you have to take a pistol and a rifle loaded when you leave the station. So there are lots of do's and don'ts with it. So carrying a load of samples at your back while coming back, and this, loaded rifle, it takes a toll of your life. Sometimes it's more than 40 or 50 kgs that you're carrying on your back with these samples. So yeah, but but when you bring it to the lab and then measure it and the results come, then that makes you feel very happy. So, whatever has happened in the expeditions, there have been very low times also. But when you look at your pictures and your photo gallery, they always make you feel happy. And every picture has a story behind it. The hardship, the low oxygen, the sick, the cold, everything. But once it's accomplished, once fieldwork is done, and in geology, when a fieldwork is like you've done your fieldwork well, it means like 80% of your things are done well. And then when you come back, you get recognition even from your school, and also it really feels elated. You really feel high. So coming to the inspiration, parents and teachers are always an inspiration. It's lucky that we have had. I was born to this family. My dad was a lawyer, and he was a man of high thinking, simple living. My mom, very religious lady, and she made it a point. No, my daughters, especially my daughters, have to study in a convent. Though we were like a medium class family, but she always pestered my dad. No, my daughters have to. Children have to get the best of education. So as parents also, when you grow big and you get into a family life, you see that what you can give is to your children is good education, and that makes their life, that takes them way ahead. And today I'm very grateful, and they were real inspirations throughout. They're still my dad is no more, but my mom is a great inspiration. And then my in-laws, who were always there. My family, the family I got married to, there was so much, because I got married when I was doing my master's first year, and then my daughter, they did my master's, then my daughter was born, and then I did my PhD. So leaving a very small kid behind, and my in-laws taking care of the children. So there was a big support of the family. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been here, or I wouldn't have been being all over the globe, like doing field work and studying. And then teachers have had very good teachers of geology. They're Padma Shri, Padma Professor 𝗪cie𝘀𝗀𝗶𝗃, who recently we lost him last year at the age of 84. So they were people who were writing books till their last stage. Like last year, his book came. So they were real workers. So they have been my role models. And then I was always very impressed by Mrs. Indira Gandhi, and APJ Kalam Sahab was always my role model. And then I really appreciate this environmentalist, this great scientist, Jane, and who's always been in the field. Maybe 50 years of her life she's been in Africa, Tanzania, looking at primates and studying them, and to brought a different kind of study and perception to the field of primates. So these are people that have really inspired me all throughout. And my strength is my family, as I told you. My friends are there, who are always there. When I'm low, I can always talk to them. And then my work. I'm very passionate about my work. I love my work, and so that's my strength. And at the last, I can only say that we all know that life is a roller coaster ride for every person. Sometimes you suddenly you're very happy, and sometimes you're very low. So this is life. It has to be like a wave. Sometimes up, sometimes down. So sometimes and every time you cannot compare yourself with the other person. Like, oh, why did I get less marks? I had studied so much. No, you should not do any kind of comparison. Okay, so you could just see what next. So we all have successes, we all have failures, we all have good times, we all have bad times, we have good fortunes, misfortunes all along the way of life. Just now you're young girls, so still there is so much to experience your life in the 20s. 30s, 40s, it's amazing, but you cannot just brood over and over again on your misfortunes or your failures, but you have to move forward. So you have to realize your power, your strength within. You have to move on. Just don't regret, just don't brood on, just don't ponder about those, don't even mention them. Yeah, what's done is done, it's gone. Okay, and of course, every time that thing comes to your mind, it leaves you with a vacuum. You know, you feel low, but okay, that's natural because we are human. We do feel bad, but those feeling bad kind of situations should be less. Just try to make them less and less. Oh, the thought comes, oh, leave it here, I have better things to do. So you have to realize that you don't have to be stagnant, because stagnancy, it makes things worse. So life is to move on, life is to be happy, and life is to make others happy. So with this, I thank you all for listening to me, and I would love to take in some questions and interact with you if you have any questions. Thank you, Darshana.
Thank you, ma'am, for such a lovely talk. So if you want to start presenting, we can put you on the spotlight again. So
again, how do I stop sharing? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for such an amazing and enlightening talk. And I just like to summarize.
Time. I took so much of time, but yeah.
Okay. So I would just like to summarize a few things that the girls like for their takeaway. So I hope all of you enjoyed this wonderful journey that ma'am shared with us, from Uttarakhand to far lands, like so far that she actually reached both the poles, and not so far lands like Ladakh, and the interesting and highly interdisciplinary work that ma'am is doing. And like until now, I just knew about geology as a discipline, but I didn't know that how interdisciplinary this discipline was per se. And I hope all the girls that who are attending this session today will see that geology or paleosciences as a discipline combines all the things from space science to astrobiology to physics to chemistry to biological sciences, mathematical studies, computation, a lot of engineering like mechanical, and I'm sure there is a lot of electronics and communication engineering also that goes in, because much of these places don't have like are dependent on satellite communication and are not connected into the so-called broadband and everything. And so girls, it's a very intermingling and interdisciplinary area. And ma'am also introduced us to many opportunities today in this highly interdisciplinary area, from all the way from the proposals in NCPOR and her that helped her go into the scientific expeditions, also the spaceward bound program, which we did not know. So I hope you are making notes of these opportunities. Like my whole notebook is full, so I hope all the other girls are also. I filled 2 pages taking notes what ma'am is saying. And also one more thing which ma'am emphasized is climate change, right? So to look into the future, we have to look into the past, and that's why the paleo sciences, like looking at ancient studies. So I really like the statement that 5 to 10,000 years is nothing from a geological point of view, and that's our history, right? That's not significant in Earth's this thing. And it's very exciting to see how we are taking these lessons from past to shape the direction of our future. And so thank you, ma'am, for such an inspiring talk, and sharing your personal journey with us, like how you pursued your higher studies after you had your children, you went to do postdocs and everything. It's very inspiring. So thank you for joining us today, and thank you for giving us so much knowledge about this interdisciplinary area. So now I will open the floor to questions. I see lots of questions coming in. Ojaswita Pant, I think she asked how interdisciplinary is your field, so which I think I have also just covered in my summary. She also asking how to overcome the challenges which you may have faced as a woman while pursuing such unconventional field, like going into the fields, or like particularly I would like to emphasize the point of physical fitness here. Like I'm emphasizing that if people want to go into such difficult fields, they have to be extremely physically fit, and they have to keep track of their health from right now, at the age of 15, 16 itself. So ma'am, over to you for Ojasita's question, like how to overcome the challenges which a woman faces while pursuing such unconventional fields.
Yeah. So the Darshana, you've already answered. Firstly is the physical fitness and the mental fitness. Yeah, you need to get out of it that I'm a woman. So if somebody can, if people have done it, so I can also do it. So it's like you have to be there. But yeah, of course, like like for me, my children were very small, and I had to leave for expeditions. They were like very small. I was still feeding them, so it used to be very difficult staying in tents. And it used to be, you'll be surprised that in one of the expeditions, I haven't had a bath, a shower for 21 days. So our expeditions used to be 60 days or something. For 21 days, I didn't even have a bathroom to go and to have a shower. So, we used to camp near these streams. So I just used to wet a towel and come to my tent and just do a brush up. And so these things you have to do because, and then you are with a whole men team. So you have to know that how, you have to, that maybe every girl has a gut feeling, and you have to go by your gut feeling there, that how do you tackle with these situations. So these experiences can be different with different people. So you have to just focus on your objective, that I'm here, and I have made a choice to go to such expeditions, and I'm well aware about the hardships there. So I think, and then we just have to not think much of the challenges, just take it as it comes. So then they don't even feel like challenges. So the moment comes, you take a decision, you see it, and just go to the other moment. So I feel living in the moment was the best thing. And then you have to be physically fit. And I think my initial years of staying in this region, in the hilly region, helped me a lot, because I was walking. Every day I was walking 7 to 10 kilometers a day, up and down and up and down. So that also made us quite fit to work in this journey. And I do yoga, and I do breathing exercises off and on. I'm like not very disciplined in that, but off and on I do it. So I make it a point that one has to be really fit to do field science. So yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm allowing Zainab to unmute. She had posted a question. The thing about these sessions, we call them Speak Up Kalpana. So we want them to ask their questions.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, Zainab, you want to ask your question?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, it would be great if you can switch on your video so that ma'am can see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to see you. We want you to speak up.
Okay, am I visible to everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi. Yeah, please go ahead.
Ma'am, I had a question. It was about what you were telling to us. While you were telling, I had it in my mind. So, is there any country or continent which has more than 4 seasons? We have seen in India, we have summer, winter, spring, and then rainy season. So, is there any country or place which has more than 4 seasons?
No. We are in the tropical zone, so we have the most seasons, because we are, our latitude is like in just above the equator, 3 to 36 degrees. Yeah. And as you move north, or as you move south, so the seasons would be disappearing. Like Arctic, Antarctic, we just have summers and winters. 6 mahina, daylight. 6 mahina, it's darkness. So it's cold for 6 months and 6 months. So only in the tropical regions, right from the Peru, Argentina, that portion, and then this even the Sahara and all were once upon a time very green. Now they are deserts. The Egyptian range, and then our Indian belt and the Southeast Asian. So this is the region, and a part of China also comes in it. So these are the places where you have 4 seasons. Otherwise, no, only 4 seasons are there.
Okay, thank you.
Darshina, you are not audible.
Okay, sorry. Anshika, you are next. You are allowed to unmute. You can ask your question. And please switch on your video. Hello, Anshika. Oh, why do I see? Anshika, you shared your screen instead of switching your camera. Anshika, we can't hear you. Can you speak louder?
Am I audible now?
No, very faintly. Okay, switch off your camera and ask your question because we can't see your screen yourself anyway. So,
So, good morning, ma'am. First of all, it was really amazing listening to you. Am I audible?
yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Please go
Mention
ahead.
your city also where you are joining in from.
I am from Pithoragarh, Uttarakhand. I'm also from Uttarakhand, studying from Kumaun University.
Oh, we are, our alma mater is the same. Yeah, good.
I had a really general question. So
Yeah.
my question is like how the polar ecosystem has changed over these few decades and how the life of indigenous people living there is challenged due to the global warming and climate change ecosystem.
Yeah, very nice question, Anshika. A lot of work is being. We have started thinking on these lines. Just now we were only doing science, like how the climate has changed, but now linking it to the social aspect, like why the migration from the hills is taking place, or from any other geographical region in India. India is huge country with different geographical regions, which could be different countries in their sub countries or sub regions with different entities. So if you talk about the hills, like if in the region of Pithoragarh and all, you see a lot of ghost.
Ma'am, we lost you in between for about 30 seconds now. Ma'am, we lost the answer completely. I think we should wait for about 5-10 seconds. Yeah, we are just, your voice is cracking completely. We couldn't hear anything in the last 30 seconds.
Because there were there was nothing for a living. Yeah. So, and climate change has.
We lost the answer completely in the 30 seconds. There was some issue with the voice. Now, Abhi Achanak se voice is better. So we lost the answer completely in 30 seconds. Yeah, around 30 seconds.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Abhi better.
Darshana, can you hear me?
Yeah, now it's better, ma'am. Earlier we lost you for about 30 seconds.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
I didn't know whether you can hear me or not. I cannot hear anybody of you. So just okay. Now is it I think the connection here in Nainital is like really bad times. So I was thinking that it does have an effect on ecosystem. Okay, I'll start again.
Hello, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was very. Okay. So a lot of migration in the hills is taking place. Yeah, I can hear you. So the social aspect has to be looked into, and studies being conducted. As I said, interdisciplinary things are needed. I can tell you how the climate has just 2 decades, 3 decades, or even for past 1,000 years or 10,000 years. how the social community was affected by it will be a matter of, taking geology, climate change, and the social aspect of it. So new researches are coming in and new people are working on these issues, and very soon you'll have an answer to a quantitative answer, where you would have figures that this much of percent was affected, or this much of ecosystem has degraded, and this much of ecological setup has been affected, something like that. I didn't know some issues with the audio, I think.
Ma'am, now it's better. So
maybe
if you stop the video for the time being, it will be helpful.
Darshini, you can take over now.
Yeah, I'm taking over. Hello, can you hear me, ma'am? Hello, Binita ma'am, can you hear me? Can anybody else hear me? Anshika, ya fir Ruchika, I'm allowing you to unmute now. So Binita ma'am, can you hear me? If you can't hear me, can you please?
Hello.
Ma'am, can you hear me? Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am, can you hear me?
Cannot hear anything. I can't.
Ma'am, can you hear me? Vijay, एक बार ma'am को call करना. Hello.
Maybe if I see lots of raised hands, 𝗪ci, Komal, Anchal, Kirti, Ruchika. Maybe you can write questions and you can pass them to me via email, and I would send it to you, and you can send it to them. I think that would be a better way, because I feel my internet connection is very, very, very slow. So the speed is very slow.
I can understand, ma'am. Ma'am, can you hear me at all or not? Because we can hear
better.
So ma'am, so everybody please switch off your videos. Let's do an audio only call so that ma'am can hear.
Darshana. Yes, I can.
Yeah, you can hear me, right? Mansi, please.
Yes, I can hear you. Is there a problem?
No problem. We can hear you now. So I'm just asking everybody to switch
I can hear you, Darshana.
Okay. Hello. Hello. Okay, girls, I think ma'am cannot hear.
Hello, I can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay, ma'am, I'm reading the questions then.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. So Kamakshi has a question, like past climate was not at all tipping point, but now it is. How we
I lost your voice. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. So I can WhatsApp some of the questions.
Yes.
Yeah. So she's saying. Hello. Sorry, ma'am, for this technical thing. I'm glad we could at least hear your talk properly.
I didn't hear the whole question.
Yeah. So I
didn't get the whole question. Can you just take these questions in the chat box? I can directly read it.
Ma'am, it's somehow the chat box is disabled.
I know. Maybe in the chat box you can put in the questions. I can read it. Yeah. यहाँ भी आवाज नहीं आ रही है, आधी कट के आ रही है, तो
Ma'am, can you see the chat, like people posting questions, or you can't see it?
Okay, I got a question here. Past climate was not at the tipping point, but how? But now it is. How we connect the future climate conditions on this basis? Analysis helps us to detect the change. No, I am reading it from my WhatsApp.
Yes, ma'am.
You sent it in the WhatsApp group, WhatsApp number, na?
Yes,
so I'm reading it from there.
Yeah, that's good, ma'am. So we can hear you.
So can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Okay. So, answering to the question of the past, the first. तो मैं बोलते जाती हूँ और फिर मैं ये वाले क्वेश्चंस आंसर कर लेती हूँ, ठीक है? आई थिंक ये रुचिका का क्वेश्चन है, पास्ट क्लाइमेट वाज नॉट एट टिपिंग पॉइंट बट नाउ इट इज. You know, Ruchika, past climate, and you see the geological history. So we have come a long way, as I said, from 3 billion years to today, and evolution has taken place in these years, and then a species has established itself and lived. But human is the species which has done a lot of destruction because they have used the resources of the earth, and they're using it like mining is going on. We need building materials, technology. You see it everywhere. So that is why we have reached to these tipping points, and the population is will be 8 billion. We are so many. So, we have to cater the needs of all these people, and we are used to so much of luxuries, ACs and fans and electricity. We need everything, So from where do we get a source, renewable source? That is why we are switching on to the solar source, and then we are doing the wind, harnessing the wind energies. So these are the things that we should do now. We cannot just go on and on mining and taking out things from the mother earth that are not replenishable, or where she cannot rejuvenate. So if this is not done, if we are not switching on to these solar things and wind or hydro energy, then in the future I don't think so there is everything will be tipped off. There is no looking back. So it's a very, very scary stage. So I hope you understand and you are satisfied by my answer. Then the second is, if we know what geographical changes are going to be in future, what kind of difference will it make in the world? At least we can be alert. We cannot do a big thing. We know the disasters, they come and they just run. They come in a second and they ruin you all. So that's natural. We cannot do anything to them. That has come since the world was formed. But for the small things like what we are putting in or accelerating this, like we are accelerating global warming by our, by the technology, by the greenhouse gases, releasing the greenhouse gases, that at least can come in a slower pace. And if we slow the pace, the earth will have time to rejuvenate. So that it will have time. So every time we are just taking out things. So that is why we can at least make this process longer. At least few more of our generations can live in peace. Otherwise our next generation would starve, will die because they would have no water. Yeah. So this is the thing that we can make a difference in this form. And then I go to the next question. The session is influencing me very much to pursue opportunities in geology, even though I'm from a different field. But it doesn't matter. As I said, things are interdisciplinary now, and maybe you can do a course on environmental studies. So there you are, you get to study geology, and then you can come to this stream. And you'll be happy to know that even in BSIP, it's not only geology or botany. People are scientists there. People from physics background. We have people from PhDs in chemistry, in forestry, in ecology, in environmental science. So you can enter it. It depends on the expertise that you do. So even if you are studying some other subject, you can find a link to this field. Okay. And then you say, could you please ask her to talk a bit about paleoclimate research in Eastern Himalayan regions, on which research labs are involved in India, so on. For the Northeast India, some very good research papers are there. So and they are based on the multi-proxy data. They're studying the Poland records. They're studying the Meghalayan caves. They're studying the speleothems, the isotope signatures. So there are a lot of research papers. So if you just type some keywords like paleoclimate, North Northeast, proxy data, Holocene. Holocene is the time span of last 10,000 years. So if you write HOLOCEN, Holocene, so I think you'll get a lot of papers to read on this. So you'll know about what is happening in the Northeast, Majoli Islands and even the Zero Lake and even the higher, the Trans-Himalayan in that region. Lots of papers from Assam, Arunachal are there. So I think you'll have a good read if you type these keywords. Then what should one do from undergraduate to pursue interdisciplinary field? Is having a dual degree in both subjects necessary? No, it's not necessary. When you're doing your dissertation or your training, like you have the summer, winter vacations, so maybe for a month you can go to any of these labs pursuing paleoclimate studies or interdisciplinary studies. You can get attached with some scientists there, and then you can do a small training. So like this, you can make use of your free time. Like we have many students from all over the country in our institute in the summer and winter months, and or wherever they have a slot of 3 weeks, and it depends on the scientist also whom they want to associate with and the proxy they want to learn. So you have to go through the institute's website. Some institutes who are doing this kind of work are my institute, Birbal Sahni Institute of Palaeosciences, the Bardia Institute of Himalayan Geology is there, ISC Bangalore also, there is there. It is there. Then NCPOR has these kind of, they do it is thrust area doing such kind of studies, and then NCPOR, then PRL, of course it's more on the physical side, but geology is an aspect they are dealing with. Then IIT Mumbai, IIT Kharagpur, all the IITs, even the ICERs. So there are groups, there are close groups where people are doing such kind of work. So you need to just do a search and contact them. And I'm sure like these people would be answering to you and telling you about the time and discussing with you. So please free to write to anybody and everybody when you are seeing their CV or you something of your interest is there. So just say out of 10 people, 8 will certainly reply to you. So then, ma'am, can you please give some information about paleoecology in these lakes that we studied? Yeah, sure. But there are so many lakes that I studied. Like in the Ladakh range only, we studied so many glacial lakes. So ecology of every lake is different, and it has been different and fluctuating, showing variations since whenever it was formed. The dates also they tell us. So these are different research papers that you'll have to refer to. If you can give me a certain locality or something, I can send you the paper referring to that if some studies are going on. So that is it. Then Kanishka Bisht says, I want to ask that what are the benefits from studying geology? How does it affect human life? She's from class 11. Kanika, geology is all that you see around you. The place you're sitting at, the mountains, the rivers, the valleys, how these came into form. So everything, the study, then not only climate studies, but also mining. All this, those people like the Geological Survey of India, they do mining and they do lots of copper mining and kimberlite pipes, diamond mining, and so on all over. You must have seen so many mines. So geology is a very vast subject, and the energy sector, oil, petroleum, ONGC. Everything, you study geology and you can go to all these fields of energy and things. So it is a multidisciplinary thing, and it gives you a wide range of choices that you want to pursue. So you can go into a research field, you can be a you can be a climatologist, you can be an ecologist, you can be an environmental geologist, you can be a miner, you can be a professor or teaching in the university, and so on. So you are in class 12. It's a good subject. And as I said in my talk, that it's interdisciplinary. So in my BSc, I had geology and I had botany and zoology. So I wanted to do some of the biotech. Although I just studied it in my bachelor's level, but they really helped me to understand the ecology and environment of the places that I'm working in. So it's whatever subject you study, you can always link it to your major subject. So superb session. Just fall in love with geology. I'm sure, yeah, you're like me. I also fell in love with geology from day one, and I still love it so much. And Blessing says, how can we get to do projects or internship in this field? As I said, you just the names of the institutes that I took: BSIP, Warrior Institute of Marine Geology, PRL, NCPOR. These are some of the big institutes, national institutes, IISc Bangalore. So just go to them to just explore their websites. Just go to the scientific staffs or the projects they have and see what you're interested and write to the person concerned. So so I think it's easy and you'll get an answer. So I think it would be nice. Hema ma'am, what could be the probable reason that Pangong Lake, India side, is shrinking and China could maintain it? China is not maintaining it, It's a natural body. It's a natural body. The problem is the melting of the glaciers. They've already melted. It's a dry. That is why I say Ladakh and till the Himalayas, till where, the Kedarnath and this Nanda Devi, all these peaks are there, you have snow. And beyond that, more towards the north, it's the leeward side. There the monsoon doesn't reach. There is no monsoon there. That is why we used to go to the fieldwork when there was peak monsoon here. July, August, September are the good months to be in Ladakh because it doesn't rain there. So it doesn't rain there. The precipitation is only by the westerly winds, that come from the Caspian Sea, Mediterranean, Central Asia, and then they bring snow to this region. In the recent years, because of global warming, everything, the circulation has, been affected, and now we have no snow there. Sometimes, the year goes by and you hardly have very little snow. So these are very dry regions. And that is why, and these lakes, like the Pangong Tso Lake, there is no river just going and coming and the lake. So there will be no snow. The thing has to dry up. So it has already dried up in the Indian side. Because from the Indian side, what has happened, climate is one region. From the Indian side, what had happened, because this river Shyok is another river that joins Indus. It's a tributary. And there it passes, because it's the Himalayas, then it's going into a terrain which is seismically and here, because of this, tectonic activities, so that also makes it vulnerable. Sometimes the river breached, sometimes they are dammed. So it goes on in that region. But from our side has reached, and the water has gone to the Shyok River. It has flown into Pakistan, and then it went to Indus River. So it's not one factor. There are many factors. So when you come deep into this, then you'll understand how beautiful it is. Certain new thought processes will open when you deep into such things. The Tejaswini, ma'am, I have a question. That all the rivers are mixing in oceans, as we know, but even the ocean water is in a salty nature. So what is the reason? So get me. Oh, the only the rivers and the lakes, they have fresh water that is usable for man to drink. Once get it's salt, because there is so much of ocean life there, right from crystals to planktons. That's a different ecology of the ocean. So we can only depend on the water which we have from the glaciers, from the rivers, from underground sources, our water table, and the closed basements. Even the lagoons and the bays, you can go to the coast and all. Again, there are some the water would be salty. So this is very important, and it's actually oceans have what will be salty would be 30 milligrams per 1,000 liters or something. It has to have that salt there. So once but all the rivers that drain into the ocean is so vast. It's like 70% of the globe. Land is only 30%. Just imagine the huge sea of water, and that I could really imagine on my journey from Cape Town to the Antarctic Bay. My God, there was nothing. It was water everywhere. And then I said, oh yeah, my God, 70% is really water. You could see nothing for months. You could see nothing but water, and your ship, like a matchbox, it's going on the waves. So nothing. So just imagine that and you have sun's rays, heat. So it is evaporating, and you know how the monsoon clouds are formed. So it's coming back also. So just read the water cycle, and you'll know that what happens. Yeah. And coming into the last, one more. That's a great talk, ma'am. Thank you that you enjoyed it. I have always been fascinated by the concept of evolution and the idea behind origin of life. I have recently biology and the subjects and have seemed to be very captivating. I have always admired ISRO and want to work there someday. But coming from a biology background, I never thought that I would be able to my confidence has been boosted. So astrology, I'll maybe I think the website is www.astrobiology.org. Just go to it. Or just type keywords in your Google search of astrobiology, Amity University, Mumbai, or Siddharth Pandey. So the Siddharth is the coordinator of the astrobiology group there, and astrobiology group there. And there is a big group that wants people who are interested in doing the biology of the analog sites for Mars, Venus, and Moon. So we have already located these sites. They are in Ladakh, in Kutch area, the saline area, and then Lonar Lake, which is a crater lake. It was bombarded by the crater, was a meteorite crater. So these are the sites which we have identified. We're already writing a paper about it. I could also share a paper, but you can find it. It's Siddharth. It's Pandey 2019 astrobiology. If you say the PDF would come. So there are a lot of things that you could do in biology. So don't lose heart. You have a very good future, and ISRO is looking for such aspects, because we have the Mangalyaan project now, and they also want to send rovers to the Mars. Yeah, indigenous rovers. So I think it is a very good thing if you could just search the ISRO projects also and the astrobiology with Siddharth Pandey. And in fact, we have a program for students. This year we wanted to do a resident program for students. It was a 3-month program of students from all over the world. And in Ladakh, so there is already a Mars Research Station Center established in Ladakh. It is in a region called Sokar, and I'm one in the scientific team, and we'll be there for 10 days, and there would be a group of students who would be there, and it's the registrations are already over, but and I don't know about because of the pandemic situation if we can really do it this year or not, but it's for 3 years. So I advise you, like next year, you should look for the dates and all and get yourself registered. So that would be the best way to enter into this field. Okay. Going to the next is, can you emphasize on how we can we apply for scientific expeditions? It sounds adventurous, and it is very adventurous. Yeah. So you can, you just see the NCPOR site. Just be visited weekly. In fact, they just last month they have announced it. So if I don't know whether the last date is gone or not, you can still see that. And if not this year, then apply for next year. So NCPOR is the only institute who deputes you or takes you to these scientific expeditions from India. These are the national scientific expeditions. Yeah. Then Adrija, ma'am, could you tell us what role mathematical modeling and statistical analysis plays? Oh, that's a lots of, and I'm bad at it. So I have to really look, be in contact with these mathematics people. They are brainy people, yeah. So, because mathematic people will have to understand the processes and the biological system, and then we talk to them. We have lots of meetings, and we tell them, what kind of data, how the data has to look like, and then they write a program for us. So you can easily, if you're interested in such systems, there are a lot of global climatic models, GCMs. So you can see the GCMs and see what mathematics has to. It has a big role to play. We really need them to for modeling our data, our ancient data also, even our present data and the future also. So we need you, yeah. So now coming to, it was an amazing talk about geology. I have enjoyed your talk, ma'am. Thank you for listening to it. Ma'am, you've talked about NASA program, so I want to participate in the program. Yeah. No criteria as such. It's only your interest, your passion for it. You just type spaceward bound programs. So maybe due to the pandemic last year, this year, we haven't had these programs, but they are conducted all over the world. They go to the Death Valley, Utah in USA, then Australia also. And then there are many places in the world where the analog sites can be there. So, that's a really different topic, and they take you. So just just see that site and be a regular visitor to that site so that you get some clues about it when they are conducted. You just have to apply for it. Okay, and then you have to have a program like, okay, you are coming, like for our Spaceward Bound India 2016 program, you'll be happy to know that 3 students have got their PhD from that program. They were with us in Ladakh, and one of them, Luke Steller, he did the geochemistry of the hot springs. Then there was he got a PhD in that. There was Savannah McGurk. She was from Australia. She's writing her PhD in these geomorphology and landscape, how it changes, and comparing the features from Ladakh to those of Mars. And because we have satellite data from Mars also, so we can see the surface. So once we see the surface, we compare it and see, oh, this looks like this. So yeah, the process is this and that. So maybe it could be formed due to water, due to air, due to this, due to that. So we can at least compare. And then Randhir, he's doing his PhD from the Ladakh area. So they all are writing their PhD. So just one spaceward bound program. So you need to show some interest. So once the program is announced, just go to the website, write a program proposal for it of the site they are taking you in, and then just be a part of it. So I think that would be easy. Sri Lakshmi, have you come across or dug any of the dinosaur fossils? Look, Sri Lakshmi, dinosaur, most of the people, a group in my institute does that work, but because I'm working in the recent sediment, and when I say recent, it's like 2.6 million years, yeah? So I work only in the upper Quaternary period, I call it. And fossil dinosaurs, they lived during the Jurassic time, 60 million years ago, and after that there was a mass extinction. So there is a group, the Jurassic Cretaceous group in our institute, that they look about, they see the flora and the fauna in the regions where dinosaurs are there. But we have some fossils of dinosaurs in our museum here. How did studying in Ladakh influence your previous researches, as we refer Ladakh as the third pole? How did studying in Ladakh influence me? No, third pole, we always knew Ladakh as a third pole. Like, third pole is like, I've introduced it to you today, but we have been using it since the past decade. So In fact, there is this third world society of which I'm a member in, and most of the Chinese. I was in China for that during 2014, and we had a big project across the Tibetan Plateau, which could not materialize because of some international issues. With China, it's like it's hardworking. It's I don't know. We cannot even do science now. So Ladakh, if you go to any region, you start a research, you have to have the basic data first. So then when you have the data about the place, the ecology, the environment, the climate, the past data, the sediments there, the landscape there, and then you can relate it to anything. You can whether you can that is your background data, that is your strength, that is your expertise, and then you can come with the ISRO people and do some studies on permafrost, come across with the NASA people, collaborate with them for the analog studies, but your expertise in a place is your expertise, so that will always help you. So that is it. I think I've come to the end of the questions, and I hope you all are satisfied. If you still have any, do write to Darshana, and she's a very good moderator. And so Darshana, over to you.
Can you hear me, ma'am? Otherwise, I'll give you a call. Okay, ma'am cannot hear us, so I'm going to give her a call. And so thank you, girls. Let me see if ma'am is answering the call. Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, hello.
You cannot hear me, so that's why I'm
giving
you a call. So that you can hear what we are saying. So a huge thanks from all of us, ma'am. Like you've answered every question, and I could hear that you are panting a bit, your throat is scratched because we asked so many questions. But we are really grateful that you solved all these doubts for our students today, and I'm so grateful that you took so much time, and our students as well. So thanks a lot again, ma'am. And Bachcho, can we do a round of clap for ma'am in this reaction?
Thank you, Darshana. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
I'm really grateful. Thank you for joining, ma'am. Appreciate it so much. You introduced us also to a wide variety of things of what is possible. And
thank you so much, everybody. Yeah. Wish you all the best for your future.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. And girls, I will be sending you all a quick survey in the WhatsApp. Ma'am, this is for the students, so that so it's a quick survey. So please answer the survey. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot again for being with us, and we are really grateful. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so I can leave, Darshana. I'll leave.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. We overshot by about 20 minutes.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, ma'am. Take care. Take care, ma'am. Bye. Okay, girls. I am going to change the meeting settings so that I can let you ask any questions. Does anybody have any questions, or we can bring this to a close? We overshot a bit, so we change it.
You can make everybody.
I have to do it manually, right? I can't.
You have to make a presenter. You have to do it manually, I guess.
So if anybody has questions, please raise hands.
So we are making everybody presenters, so you can actually. So anybody has got any question, you can see unmute.
So Ruchika, you can unmute yourself. You are you are presenter right now. Okay, great.
No, let's ask. So students, raise your hands. We will unmute you. Anything related to Kalpana Fellowship, mentor, any doubts? Just raise your hands and ask questions. Raise your hands. We are making everybody presenters now. Okay. Please unmute. Ruchika.
And those who want to go can go, because this is the end of the session.
This is the end of the session.
Yeah.
Please see, we are doing this for you girls. So please fill the form so that we know if the talks are having any effect on you. So what would you like and all of that. So please fill the form so we know we can make it better for you. So anybody who wants to talk, please Raise your hands. We are unmuting everybody. We will unmute you first if you raise your hands, and if you want to leave, of course you can leave.
We should permanently change the diagram. Next time when they're joining, Binita ma'am, I had to just change once.
Always change it. No, she entered. I was changing.
Okay, no questions?
No questions. Everybody is understanding Kalpana Fellowship. No questions, no doubts. Ashi, Adriga, Akshada, Anchal, Gaurisha, Hema, what's up? All okay? Okay, Poonam has a question, finally.
Allowed to unmute.
Okay, Poonam, you can unmute, you can share, you can show yourself and ask.
Yes, sir. So, how is the attendance being recorded of our program?
So we record it through your mentors, and we also record it like when you come to the team session, I can download the attendance at the end of the session.
So teams will tell will gives per user to the administration. Per user, it gives you exactly how many times the user muted, unmuted, joined, left, all of that it shows, a lot of data it gives. And all the girls, the attendance will be taken very seriously from coming weekend, because until now not everybody is good with teams. So this week everybody has to come into teams. Okay, the reason for that is because you're young girls and it is a big safety issue. We don't want girls are from all over the country, so we don't want girls in different platforms and all of that. So your safety and security is a very big issue for us. We don't want other dangerous elements to come into the meeting. Now anybody can come into the meeting, because as guests, from next time it will only be from Vigyan Shala, because safety and security is very important. Okay, Poonam, any other question?
No, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions? Akshada, Anchal, Anshika. No questions. Everybody's nice. Malika, Manisha Menam. Nobody has a question. That is interesting. I thought you will have a lot of questions. Pooja has a question. Great. Pooja, please ask. I've just changed you into this. You can unmute and you can ask.
Sir, do we have Bushra Ateeq ma'am's lecture today?
No, she could not come. I said that in the beginning, she could not come because of COVID.
She's down with COVID. We are very sorry about that.
She's not down.
Okay. I missed it. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
So we are very sorry. We'll try to get someone of her profile again. So a lot of students are finding it tough because of COVID. Even same with speakers and mentors. So it's a tough time. We will all be there for each other. We'll get Bushra Ateeq ma'am in a month, in 2 or 3 months. We will try and do that again for sure. Anyone else? Adriana Sunil, the name is right. Ayushi, Bhumika. Any questions? Raise your hands. Rashmi, Rishita. Please ask questions if there is any doubts. Kamakshi has a doubt. Thank you. Yes, Kamakshi, now you can ask.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, Kamakshi.
मैम आज जो हमें एक फॉर्म दिया था जो भरने के लिए, जिसमें 64 क्वेश्चंस थे एंड वी हैव टू गो थ्रू एवरी क्वेश्चन एंड एनालाइज दिस आवरसेल्फ, तो जो वो फॉर्म्स हैं वो आप लोग एज अ इंटरेक्शन यूज़ करेंगे एंड आफ्टर दैट यू विल डू some other exercises with us?
So the thing is, it's to know you, who you are, and how we can help you better, what specific areas you need help with, and we will check. So this is like a baseline of the program where you stand. Then we will do at the end of 4 or 6 weeks, we will again check like how you are doing. So when each module finishes, we will again check like if it made a change to the baseline that you have given us, and then by the end of the program, if there are areas which we have not addressed, we will try to help and work with you on that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Kamakshi, आप कहाँ से हैं? Where are you from?
Ma'am, Delhi.
Okay, which college are you studying in?
Swami Shraddhanand College.
Great, thank you. please, those who haven't filled it, please fill the form, because it is to help us customize your experience in Kalpana, and by the end of it we want to see how many of the challenges that you listed we were able to solve, and if we were not able to solve, we will try to bring in more sessions and support for you in the network to help you achieve your goals and objectives. Okay. Okay, anybody else here who wants to ask anything? I can't see anybody raise hands. Okay. If not, then let's close the session. You people can leave, and thank you once again for your time today. We overshot by half an hour because of some technical issues and everything. But I'm here, Vijay is here, so is anybody and everybody from the Kalpana team is here to answer your question. If you're having any challenges in getting on board with Teams, Vijay will help you. So I just quickly want to show you a few things, okay? Now on Teams, whoever is here, I can show it. So if you go to your Teams, how do I get out of this? Just the meeting. Okay, there should be one more Teams. It's okay, Vijay. They don't have questions, you can't force them. So if you, wait a second, I want to tell something. So if you have your channel where you are talking to your ma'am and all, you have a section called files. So whenever you are doing any assignments or anything, you go to files and you can upload your files or your assignments here. Okay. So you can put things into your Teams here. You can access your individual group chats here. Like, so this is say let's go to the 𝗥𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗃's group. Okay, so they have recorded their meeting. So similarly you will be able to see your channels, and don't go into other channels, just go into your channel, because the other channels are of course personal to other people. So you can see the replies and what happened, and then you can have the full record here. So this is why we want to do everything on Teams, so that everything is a record. So they have put the SWOT template here, so you can actually go and look at the SWOT template and see how I'm going to do, or download it, and then you edit your version and you upload it. So if you have any difficulties in understanding Teams or anything, we are here. It's like a full classroom dashboard. You have everything in one place. You come to Teams and you will find all your things here. Okay. Okay, anything else? Okay, great. Thank you, girls, for such a good time with us.
This is from the IT. All the girls who have joined as guests, please call me, message us. From next time, guests will not be allowed, so you have to compulsory log in because of safety issues. Okay, just message me. Cool.
Okay, thank you. So, Vijay, can you end the meeting from there as a host? End it for everybody, na? Okay, girls, please leave.
Wait.